Go Big Red!
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer.
Mmm.
Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdred or order online at hfcrave.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ready, set, Ford just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Fort Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Fort Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake, baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich, golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with the help of Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Ticket Weeknights. Sorry for a little bit of delay there for everyone who is listening on the Ticket app, as we still got NFL on the brick and mortar. If you guys want to check it out, of course, you can always listen to the Ticket app or the streams, Facebook, YouTube, XL, Channel 961. Apologies if the stream's a little bit different today. Still trying to get the formatting out as we are in the middle of trying to up our quality here at 93.7 The Ticket. So as I'm looking at it right now, the borders aren't quite 100% on there. But nonetheless, we'll be in here, and I'll probably be troubleshooting it along the way. I just do an hour live, talk some sports for everyone who's still listening on the Ticket app. And, of course, on the streams, you guys are still welcome to join in Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961. We do got NFL going on the Brickmore, as I mentioned. It's currently 14-0. The Falcons leading over the Rams. The 6-9 Falcons with a very strong start versus the 11-4 Rams. And this one's a big deal because that NFC is still wide open for who wants that number one seed. I shouldn't say wide open as it's down to a few teams here, but a win here would certainly be huge for the Rams' cause to try to go ahead and lock this one in, as the San Francisco 49ers, they beat my Chicago Bears yesterday. And then you got the Seattle Seahawks sitting pretty comfortably. They're on a nice little hot streak. The Rams dropped this one, no shot. Make it quite simple about getting that one seed. That being said, we can just talk a little bit of NFL because this week has been awesome. Not just my Bears, but a lot of great stuff along with college football, bowl games. We got to see the Pop-Tart Bowl again. I don't care what anyone says. That is a awesome bowl game, and it's nice to see a bowl game with a lot of eyes on it where people generally get excited for. In the era of the college football playoffs, you know, it feels like a lot of these bowl games have decreased in value, and certainly some of that is true. But at the same time, I don't want to see them go. I know Chris Rapp and I have talked about it before, but one of his fears is like, listen, with a lot of these players, a lot of these coaches not always wanting to even participate in these bowl games, and sometimes rightfully so, and other times you're a bit dumbfounded as to why without knowing the inner details. For instance, Emmett Johnson, no-brainer, head to the league. You could understand that one. As a guy on a mission to go play NFL football, he paved his road here at Nebraska, and if he doesn't want to go out there and risk an injury, you can understand it. You don't have to agree with it, but, you know, a lot of people can get his perspective on why he'd opt out. Let's go ahead and get ready for the NFL draft. That is my next stop. Got a bowl game win last year, so it's not like he hasn't had one of those in his college career. There's other instances where a guy who will be with the team all year, they miss the college football playoffs, and instead of playing one more game with his teammates, you know, they'll just hit the transfer portal and opt out of that bowl game altogether, which is a little bit surprising because there is money to be had. I know those guys aren't getting paid nothing to go out to those, and they'll get all sorts of sponsors and goodies along the way. And then, you know, for the Huskers case, like, why wouldn't you want to spend, you know, nearly a week in Vegas? It's another opportunity to get that team chemistry going, but also get some more practices in. But then, of course, like I said, you have those guys that just have no interest. They want to hit the portal, move on to other sites. And sometimes not just the players, the coaches. They can be guilty of it as well. Coaches will do it, feels like, more often than players these days. If you're going to do the per capita of coaches that make these kind of last-minute moves or say one thing and then they're out the door with the last sentence, probably a lot more coaches do it than actual players. And that's the thing I probably noticed most with college football. And that was before the whole Lane Kiffin bailing on Ole Miss. You know, before he really saw what the future held at Ole Miss. I mean, according to the AD at Ole Miss, that was a conversation that they had, you know, months before Lane Kiffin made that announcement that he was heading over to LSU to coach the Tigers, that if you make this decision, you will not be coaching Ole Miss in any postseason play. And, of course, Lane Kiffin announces it, says, well, I really wanted to, and the AD was just mean and didn't let me. Like, no, you very well understood that wasn't going to be in the cards if you decided to go elsewhere. You decided to go elsewhere. The AD got it very clear. This is what we'll do. He followed through with what he said, and Lane Kiffin goes on the press and just kind of, not outright lying, but a lot of white lies, you know, just to kind of save his skin, you know, talking about the players begging him to come back. You get a bunch of Ole Miss players going on Twitter and X during the time of that announcement saying, absolutely not, we did not beg him. Then is Lane Kiffin selling you a story. I wasn't in the locker room, but I'd probably side with the players on that one based on their reactions on X with the just overall flooding of upset fans and then the players themselves. So it's just a chaotic era. But nonetheless, back to NFL, it kind of got carried away there. Still 14-0. Rams down 14 to the Atlanta Falcons with about 4 minutes left to go here in the second quarter before they get to halftime. Other games, we're not going to dive into a lot of these because a lot of these are out of playoff contention, but the Cowboys, Commanders. Cowboys get another win, 30-23 over the Washington Commanders. Cowboys fall to 7-8-1. Washington Commanders 4-12. Was not a bad game for the Commanders. It was a cool story for Josh Johnson, the quarterback for the Washington Commanders. Hard not to root for him, but it really was a pretty solid game from the Commanders as a whole. For how bad their season's been, to at least make it a fight. And then, of course, Josh Johnson, 15 for 23, 198 yards. No touchdowns, no picks, but that's a solid completion rating. And, for kind of getting thrown in that situation, and his story being as round as many teams as he has been, clearly a more veteran guy, he looked the part, to say the very least. And then, of course, Deebo Samuel Jr., he gets a couple of receptions for 68 yards. Nice to see him just get some touches, as it's been a tough year for the Commanders. Lions lose to the Minnesota Vikings, which is crazy that the Detroit Lions fall to last place in the NFC North. You got one game left for everybody, but it doesn't matter. It's all written in stone at this point. They went from number one to dead last in 1 year. Now, it's not dead last like when you look at the NFC South dead last, or when you look at the New York Jets or the Cleveland Browns dead last. No, there's standards to being last in your division. NFC North, good division, especially this year. And 8-8 is not a horrible team. But it is crazy to sit here and think that they have fallen to last in the division. Had an opportunity in a lot of these games, but this one, and losing to the Minnesota Vikings, was surprising. Max Brosmer, 9 for 16, 51 yards. I think if you bring, all the tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of their screenplays, I think as a team, if I check it out, 3 passing yards. The Minnesota Vikings won with 3 passing yards compared to the Detroit Lions' 163 passing yards, and they also outrushed them on the ground, 231 to 161. Just an insane game. But what will lose you games is fumbling the ball 4 times and throwing 2 interceptions. Really just sloppy football with the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff, one of his worst games, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was 18 for 29. As I said, Max Brosmer didn't do a lot. Didn't need to do a lot. 9 for 16. That'll work. Gets you 23 points, and they go ahead and get the win there. Officially kicks the Lions dead last in the NFC North. Vikings, they get third. Not a lot's going to change, though. None of those teams really had playoff hopes. The Lions were on a long shot window. They had to beat that Vikings team if they wanted to keep anything alive. And like I said, they don't. And in surprising fashion, the Broncos take down the Chiefs 20-13. Bo Nix, 26 for 38, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And then obviously Patrick Mahomes. He's out for the season. So you had a backup play there. They were out of playoff contention. A lot just riding on there for the Denver Broncos. Can you go ahead and just fix your seeding? Get as high as you can with that one and get a favorable matchup. And they do that, and they win 20-13. The Texans stay hot on defense and beat the Chargers 20-16. Texans are one of those teams nobody wants to play this team come postseason. I mean, that defense just looks better and better every single week, and that's saying a lot. CJ Stroud in that one threw 2 touchdowns, turned it over a couple times too with 2 interceptions, and gave them at times some pretty favorable field position. But that Texas defense just stands up time and time again. Justin Herbert on the other side was 21 for 32, 236 yards, 1 interception. And the thing that's fascinating about the Texans defense is they don't do any disguising. I mean, there's not a lot to think about realistically with how the Texans play you on defense. They're not hiding a lot of coverages. They're not sending a ton of blitzes. I mean, they pretty much line up, show you what they're going for, and they just execute at a higher level than just about every other team out there in the NFL currently. It's been just, if that offense was a little bit better, people are probably talking about the Texans as a Super Bowl favorite. But that offense just isn't quite convincing enough for a lot of people out there. And if you go look at the history of the Super Bowl, I think it's like in the last 20 years to win it, teams have been both in the top 12 for offense and defense. Texans check the defensive box. They do not check that offensive box. But if any other world, it reminds me a little bit of what year that'd be. I'd have to think of 08 maybe. The last year of Ndamukong Suh, the Texas game, the infamous Texas game. Reminds me a lot of that team. Just a defense that can stop anyone. Arguably the best defense in the country. I think it was for Nebraska football. But the offense was so just sputtering in the mud too often for that team to really jump ahead of anyone. I mean, you look at the defensive touchdowns that team had, it was pretty much defense carrying every single game all the way through. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you need your offense to step up at times. And in that Texas game in particular, where Nebraska had a chance to hand Texas, a tough loss versus a rival at home, go ahead, win the conference championship, beat your rival. The infamous last second gets added to the clock. Texas gets the walk-off field goal for the win. But you just have a offense that's scoring one more touchdown a game. I think that's a team in serious contention. And that's unfortunately what the Texans team are. Now, if they can get that offense clicking, I mean, who knows how far they can go if they continue to stay hot here. And especially sitting there with a record 11-5, you make postseason play. If that offense just starts picking up again, you don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to jump your offense production by a significant amount, but just a little bit to give your team a better chance. They might actually be able to make a solid run into some postseason play. And then for the Chargers, 11-5, not the worst loss in the world, but a surprising one. To have that low scoring of affair, but again, with the Texans, you could do worse. Not the worst game. Moving on, Ravens beat the brakes off of the Green Bay Packers. 41-24 in this game had Derrick Henry written all over it. Henry in this one is the appropriate guy to start out with. 36 carries for 216 yards, 4 touchdowns. A 200-yard game will not hurt. 4 touchdowns on top of it. Huntley played good. The backup quarterback helps when the run game is that dominant. Those linebackers, safeties are going to be coming down just about every single time to try to stop that man. Opens things up a lot. And he did well with it. 16 for 20, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. Didn't need to throw it a lot. Rightfully so. The run game was working. But he does it efficiently when asked to do so. And then Zay Flowers, 4 receptions, 30 yards, 1 touchdown. Really just solid game for the Baltimore Ravens. And then if you just go look at the rushing yards, 307 rushing yards to the Green Bay Packers, 79. Dominant, flat-out performance. Third down conversion, you can imagine they were pretty effective, 10 for 14. When you're running the ball that well, Packers didn't get a ton of chances. 3 for 6 on third down. Unfortunately for the Packers, they were 0 for 2 on fourth down. And then they also had a fumble and an interception to give them a couple of turnovers for the cherry on top for the Baltimore Ravens to go ahead and get that huge lead and then win it 41-24. Didn't shake up a lot for the Packers. Yeah, they were maybe hoping to climb up a little bit. That 7 seed is locked in outside of a couple of situations. I shouldn't say locked in. There's a good chance that some things could move around here, but I think for the most part, they're going to be at that 7 spot unless there's a scenario that I'm missing. It's really going to come down to Bears to decide who they're going to play. They lose next week for the versus the Lions. They get the Green Bay Packers. If they get the win, then they will go. I might have that backwards. They're getting the 49ers again or the Green Bay Packers again. On the other side, since we're up to break, I'm going to have to go through some of these scenarios so I don't tell you guys wrongly. But we're about 1 game out, and there's a little bit of changes that could still happen in the NFC North, in particular with the Packers, Bears, 49ers, Rams. I think the Rams are a pretty good spot, or actually in a bad spot if they lose this game. It seems like the Seahawks will be able to wrap up the NFC. But just a crazy stat line for Derrick Henry on the Baltimore Ravens. And then you have the Dolphins. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-17. Someone's got to win that division. I don't know if it's going to be the Panthers. I don't know if it's going to be the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have lost 7 of their last 8 games, and the Panthers it's been a long time since they've just put 2 games together. Panthers deserve a lot of credit, significantly better than last year, but their biggest problem is they can't put games together. It's one good game followed by an okay game and a loss. So I don't have a good pulse on anyone. You got a situation with the Buccaneers and they're back to the wall, who have a little bit of that veteran leadership where you think they'd be able to pull through. But then again, you just lost to the Dolphins. You lost 7 of your last 8. And you do got a Panthers team who, although they're having a hard time putting them together, I think they'll just be fired up and they'll give you everything they have because this is a much better position anyone would have gave them to begin the season. And it's a lot better than I think, the NFL press or media would give them any credit before the season started. The Buccaneers, you could argue, been disappointing since that awesome start to the season. The Panthers, despite what I said, struggling to put games together, a pretty significant turnaround. So I think they'll be fired up for it. That one's an ultimate coin toss for me. Who's going to win that game between those 2 teams? And I believe that one is, let me double check here. I want to say that one's in the middle of the day. It's actually the first game. It is your Saturday game, 3:30. You could just figure out who's going to win that division between the Panthers and Buccaneers. That is the game decider who's going to come out on that division. With that being said, we'll go ahead, throw it to break here. Again, apologize for a little bit of delay here as we're testing some new streaming equipment, but I will join you guys back on the other side. Take a Weeknights going solo with Harrison Arens. We'll talk a little bit more NFL, then I definitely want to dive into some college football, and then certainly Nebraska versus Utah, that New Year's Eve Bowl in Las Vegas. Don't go anywhere. Throwing it to break. Harrison Arens, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ready, set, forward. Just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake, baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich, golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with the help of Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in December. Try one of their delicious breakfast sandwiches or grilled breakfast burritos. Don't forget to snag a gift card for stocking stuffers and bring your family in from out of town. With 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through December 14th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York strips, $6.99 each, 85% lean ground beef, $4.98 per pound, all-natural boneless chicken breasts, $2.48 per pound, and holiday gift boxes are available for $50. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer.
Mmm.
Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Ticket Weeknights segment number 2. Just going solo here. As you can imagine, a lot of student athletes enjoying the time off. Well-deserved time off, I should say. You know, the bowlers that usually come in around this time are getting a much-needed break, as those guys, they only get a month off, and they only get so much time to actually go back, relax, unwind, see their family, and do something outside of sports and school. And those guys, much-deserved break. Obviously, Jillian Martin, I actually think she might still be I actually think there's a few of those guys still doing tournaments, so I'm not even going to say that. I think they might still be putting in work while they do got the time off, some individual tournament stuff. No, Jillian Martin for sure, and she's been on a nice little run. She obviously, for all those who missed it and usually missed their show, Spare Time with Jillian Martin, Kayla Starr, she did go ahead and went to Hong Kong. Actually got to compete with her coach JB, and they brought some hardware. They got a gold medal, and I think at least one bronze, and then one more. Whether it was gold or silver, I don't want to say wrong, but I do believe they got a gold as well. So, want to shout out those guys. They're not on air this week at all. Neither is the golfers. New shows. You got Mackenzie Bream and Arden Lockheim. Those guys normally go on tomorrow. Of course, they'll be off. Also enjoying the holiday break. And then Thursday's show, New Year's Eve, they will not be here either. But that's all right. Still plenty of stuff to talk about before everyone gets back for the new year. Moving on with some NFL, though. Again, we left off the Ravens-Packers game, where Derrick Henry had his handprints all over it. And, of course, the Dolphins-Buccaneers kind of went through the Panthers-Buccaneers scenario. Someone's got to win that division. Buccaneers, Panthers, this weekend, Saturday, we'll find out who's going to come out on top. Patriots destroy the Jets. Not a lot to say about that one. 42-10. Drake May looked awesome. Patriots, you could call them schedule merchants, but that's what you do. You get a bad team, you take care of business. And I know they haven't played the best teams on their schedule. This is a very good Patriots team. The Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 13-6. One of the ugliest games for the Steelers all year. It's, Shedeur Sanders, I've said this before. It's not like I'm the biggest Shedeur Sanders fan. I'm not rooting for people to ever fail. I think that's just kind of a low thing to do for someone I don't know, other than a few viral clips of him, flexing the watch, which I didn't appreciate in that Husker game where they played at Colorado. Or actually, no, that one was at home. It was the Memorial Stadium when we beat the brakes off of those guys. But usually not in the business of rooting against players. I will root against a bad organization, though. And that is what the Browns are. How they played Dillon Gabriel for as long as they did, it blows my mind. Because Shedeur Sanders, I see the flaws. I see the occasional bad throw. I see the occasional bad sack. That looks like every rookie quarterback. I see people just clip farming on that kid. It's like, listen, is he guaranteed to be great? No. Is he guaranteed to be a starter for a long time? Absolutely not. As bad as some people want to say it is, not even close. Compared to what we just saw with Dillon Gabriel, in that disaster, it's at least a competent team. That defense is legit. The offense, even with the good quarterback, doesn't necessarily have elite talent that they can lean on. So there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And despite everything, I thought he's actually done a pretty good job. 17 for 23, accurate, except for the 2 picks or the 2 throws that he wasn't, and he throws 2 interceptions. So he missed his 6 throws. 2 of them end up being picks. He does have 186 yards, 1 touchdown. Aaron Rodgers, 21 for 39, only 168 yards despite throwing it nearly 40 times. No touchdowns, no picks. They had a play at the end there. I think they just needed 1 yard. They opt to throw it deep, incomplete. And the Browns run away with that one. Steelers, I mean, it's crazy that they just keep finding a way to be right on track for a 9-8 finish. Their last game left is the Ravens. And we just talked about the Ravens. We just talked about how good that team looked, even with Tyler Huntley, the backup in there. Ravens look like they're heading for another 9-8 finish now, which is unreal. But shout out to the Browns. You find a way to get a win. It was not the prettiest performance by the offense. And like I said, I get it. Shedeur Sanders threw 2 picks, but he was accurate for the most part. On a team that doesn't have a ton of offensive weapons, like, again, if you're comparing it to Dylan Gabriel, I think you got the better chance there. And Shedeur Sanders. You're also trying to talk about guys that are playing on the Browns, and that place has not always, well, it just hasn't never really been the quarterback spot to go develop. You know, they finally got a guy in Baker Mayfield. We know what happened. He has 1 year where he's playing kind of hurt, and they don't have as great a season as they wanted, and they trade him. And they take in Deshaun Watson. And then we know the full story from there, and it's just been an absolute dumpster fire until they got some nice picks. But then they draft Dylan Gabriel, and with their next pick, they draft Shedeur Sanders. Wasted pick on Dylan Gabriel, if you ask me. I'm sure Shedeur would have loved another wide receiver or just somebody out there, give him a little bit more offense. A rookie to give his offense more of a chance, but that's what they landed on. Jaguars beat the Colts. You give it credit to Phillip Rivers. I mean, he does not have the arm talent. He does not have, certainly the mobility that he used to, but his expertise of the game, you can clearly see. I mean, just taking what's available to him every time he lines up, and it's just kind of different with that era of quarterbacks. The quarterbacks that used to operate without the helmet in the mic, or the mic in the helmet, I should say, you almost can see it. Like, they're just in much more control on that offensive line because they're used to having to look at it and assess it pretty much all by themselves. They got nobody in their earpiece, giving them some spots to look at. He's just got to get the play, go up there, and figure it out himself. Now, obviously, this year, he has the guy in his headset, but you could tell he's just a lot more comfortable, which you would hope for a guy who's 44. And even though he took 5 years off, you could tell he's still very attached to the game and watching a lot of it. Just incredible. They lose that game, but in no way did it really fall on Phillip Rivers. I thought he played pretty good in all these games. It sucks that he did not win a single game with the Colts, but I thought he gave him a better chance than just about anybody else could. In this game, he was 17 for 30, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jonathan Taylor played pretty good, though. 21 carries, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 37, 263 yards, and 1 pick. Like I said, it's been a fun ride with Phillip Rivers, despite them not winning. The Saints, they win another one, 34-26. Saints, a nice little come up on the rise here. And the guy that everyone was giving a really hard time, Tyler Shuck, he's looking like the real deal. 22 for 27, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Cameron Ward, also a pretty good game from him. Just above 50%, but he didn't throw any picks. He had a couple touchdowns, 21 for 40, 251 yards. The Tyler Shuck story is going to be interesting in year 2 because he's clearly the guy right now. All the reason to believe he should be the guy, and they got something cooking up there with him. I don't know if it's going to take off next year or if it fizzles out, but right now it's kind of leaning towards the direction of they might have found their guy. Seahawks beat the Panthers 27-10. Sam Darnold continues a not so stellar performance, about a mid performance for him. 18 for 27, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Bryce Young, really bad game for him. 15 for 24, 54 yards, 1 interception. And they still got a chance to make the playoffs. Bengals beat the Cardinals. Biggest thing for that one is that Bengals defense. This is probably the best they've looked in a long time. And that was the most woeful the Arizona Cardinals looked probably all year. 14-37. Giants beat the Raiders. Dominant fashion. Congratulations to the Raiders for getting that draft pick. Eagles beat the Bills. 13-12 in an incredibly low scoring affair. Jalen Hurts, 13 for 27, 1 touchdown. Josh Allen, 23 for 35, 262 yards. Saquon Barkley, another game under 100 yards. James Cook, 74 yards on 20 carries. Just a real scoring game. Both those teams, I'm just not sure on. You know, if you were to think there's a year for either of those teams to go up there and grab the Super Bowl without the Giants of the Patriots being there, you know, Lamar Jackson's out with the Baltimore Ravens. You're looking at even the Bills, who I know I just used them as like a team to go out and grab it, but they seem a little bit off. I mean, the Chargers, maybe this is the year for them to make a jump. They just haven't looked complete all year. They look good, not great. But at the same time, you look at this NFL spread, and even with the Rams, who are a lot of people's favorites, with this game with the Falcons, they're down 21-0 at halftime. So how sure are we on the Rams are a Super Bowl favorite? You got a bunch of teams in this playoffs I don't think anyone feels super great on. Maybe the 49ers. As the last game on Sunday, my Chicago Bears, well, not mine, I'd like to own part of them, Chicago Bears lose to the 49ers in another thriller fashion. Whether you like the Bears or hate the Bears, you can't tell me it's not good football. I mean, they've had some of the most electric games all season where they were on the 2-yard line for their chance to win 7 games while trailing with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams has a man in his lap, throws it incomplete, hits the dirt, but just an absolute shootout. And maybe you put the 49ers up a little bit on your board. Brock Purdy, he's been locked in the entire month of December. They had 0 punts up until that Bears game where they punted a couple of times in this month of December. And even though Purdy threw a pick six at the very first play of the game, it was like 10 seconds in, pick six, Bears have 7-0 lead. After that, he played pretty much perfect. I mean, you really couldn't ask, despite throwing a pick six, one of his better games, just dominant. Knew exactly where he wanted to go all night long for the most part. Again, only 2 punts versus a Bears defense who the bend don't break, but they are just looking to take that ball away, and they've caught a lot of quarterbacks drifting a little bit where they're picking that ball off. Now, there is one where Gardner Johnson had an interception, hands to the face call, slightly disagreed with it, but those are the rules. Refs say you broke them, not an interception. Outside of that, I mean, the pick six in that one that I thought it should have been a pick, but there was a flag on the play, pretty much perfect. You can't ask much more of him. And then that defense, as beat up as that defense was, and then they lose Trent Williams at the beginning of the game. Like, the 49ers team, despite all the injuries and everything that's going on around them, they might be peaking at the perfect time of the season. Just really impressed by how good their offense was. Defense was not great, but stepped up in the biggest moment with the last play of the game. And they go ahead, get that win, and they size up their matchups. Another chance they might meet the Bears in the playoffs, or the Bears might meet the Packers, but the 49ers, maybe a team that not a lot of people were circling due to injuries. With that performance, I don't know what kind of respect the Bears garner at this point. I think some people are starting to buy in. This is a very good team. If you beat them, that's a great win. I think, to score 42 points at any time, whether it's a good team or a bad time, is fantastic. And again, gutsy stop at the end there. Caleb Williams and that team been known to kind of punch their ticket at the very end and not give you any time left on the clock. Defense held firm. They get a rush at the end to kind of break up that last play. And like I said, guy right in Caleb Williams' lap, throws in the dirt. No chance. And then, of course, you got the game tonight. 21-0, halftime, Rams versus the Falcons. All right, we'll throw the break one more time. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll wrap up with some Husker football. And then we do got Raff. Chris Raff will be joining us tonight. So don't go anywhere. We will continue our normal programming after this hour once we get to Raff's Good Take on Sports. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Ready, set, forward. Just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Fort Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Fort Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake, baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich, golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with the help of Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in December. Try one of their delicious breakfast sandwiches or grilled breakfast burritos. Don't forget to snag a gift card for stocking stuffers and bring your family in from out of town. With 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through December 14th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York strips, $6.99 each, 85% lean ground beef, $4.98 per pound, all natural boneless chicken breasts, $2.48 per pound, and holiday gift boxes are available for $50. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer.
Mmm.
Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in segment number 3, last one out here. And I know I promised some Husker football, but I'm going to have to break that promise. Unfortunately, we got an hour, though. I'm sure me and Chris Rapp will certainly dive into it. Because a little bit of breaking news happened about 55 minutes ago. I was unaware, but in the Miami Heat Denver Nuggets game, alarming news for the Denver Nuggets fans. Nikola Jokic went out after getting his foot stepped on by a teammate and then immediately falls to the ground, grabbing his knee, and has to limp off the court immediately after the apparent injury there. And there's no official reports, but they're going to do some major testing immediately, is what it sounds like. So it's going to be an uneasy night for Denver Nuggets fans, as I think most people see that championship window closing if he's out, for the Denver Nuggets, which is brutal because he's on that arc right now to try to go grab some history for himself. Where he ends up at the end of his career, nobody really knows, but the story was still getting written. So hopefully this injury isn't too severe, and it looks bad. I mean, just you can go look at the video, the way he goes down and grabs it. It looks like he hyperextended it. Not sure what the repercussions on that are going to be, but tough news for Denver Nuggets fans. They end up losing that game to the Miami Heat, probably a little bit dejected. I don't think it was necessarily close. It was like 147. Let me pull it up here. 147 to 123. They lose that game to the Miami Heat. And like I said, that's bad news bears for the Nuggets. You look at the plus minus numbers, and you don't want to get too far into advanced analytics, but sometimes you can just take a peek and it makes sense. When he is on the court, that team is significantly better. When he is off the court, that team is like one of the bottom tier teams in the West. Now, hopefully, if it's some deal where he's hurt, he gets a little bit of time off, he gets healthy and comes back, could be a blessing in disguise. All right, Denver Nuggets, figure out how to operate without Jokic on the floor. Because when he's on the floor, he's such a conductor that I think when he's off the floor, they're a little bit trying to figure out how to retain some of that magic that he has, and it's like a completely different style of ball. It's hard to replicate what Jokic does out there on the court. So just really unfortunate. Like I said, could be a blessing in disguise to where maybe, those other starters and those bench players find their roles and find bigger ways to contribute in the absence of his presence. Worst case scenario, they don't. They lose a bunch of games and Jokic is out for the season. And then their playoff window still there. Like I said, the NBA championship feels maybe like a distant dream unless they can pulse the Miami Heat magic like they did in that first year of the bubble, where they were, I think they were like the play-in 10 seed, and they went all the way to the NBA championship game after their team shot like a blazing 40+% from three in just about every single game up until they got into those finals. I should say average 40+ from three in those series before they got to that final series. So with that being said, I had to end with that news that one happened probably just about an hour ago, as Nuggets fans will be holding their breath, wondering if their guy Jokic will return for the season or if it's worse than they hoped for and he may be out for the remainder of the season. We'll likely find out by tomorrow how severe it is. Until then, I am signing off. Not for the night, just till the next show. Chris Raff's Good Take on Sports coming up next. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.